Welcome to Basic and Bookish Podcast, where today we are discussing our favorite moments, characters, and foreshadowing from A Court of Silver Flames, Book 5 of the ACOTAR series by Sarah J Maas. I'm Kinsey.
And I'm Karly. Join us as we enter the Maasverse, preparing for the highly anticipated release of ACOTAR 6.
This is part of our Massive Maasverse Mayhem Crash Course season, where we will cover favorite ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, and Crescent City moments, world-building and lore breakdowns, ACOTAR 6 theories, and more before the sequel's release on October 27th, 2026. And once ACOTAR 6 is here, we'll be right by your side to recover from the inevitable cliff hangover before ACOTAR 7's release on January 12th, 2027. And yes, we will be updating our theories between releases.
This is your formal spoiler warning. This episode contains ACOTAR series spoilers up to Book 5, A Court of Silver Flames, which means the whole ACOTAR series through today's date.
Yep.
If you haven't finished reading A Court of Silver Flames yet, we recommend pausing the show and returning after you've finished. There will not be Maasverse spoilers. Kinsey will contain herself from other SJM series in this episode, but feel free to check out our timestamps in the show notes for topics.
Due to the nature of this book, this podcast is rated R in content and language. If you'd like to skip the ads and have access to full video formats, it's available now on Patreon. That link can be found in our show notes.
Now prepare to dive into the cauldron because we're entering the Maasverse. Starting off with a quick yes or no. Did you enjoy Book 5?
You know what? Yeah, fuck it.
It's going to be a no for me.
I mean, maybe it's like a maybe for me.
Yeah.
I think maybe, probably like more of like a maybe. Like I was surprised. Yeah. I did enjoy myself, but there were other parts where I was like, is it over yet?
Yeah.
Now, since it's the first time we have both reread Silver Flames, did you enjoy it more on a reread, or was it about the same and what you were expecting?
I'm sure we'll get into this more later. I did not enjoy Nesta more on this reread, unfortunately. I did enjoy like the world building and lore drops more on this read.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah, and to be fair, when I read this book the first time, I thought this was it. I didn't think there was going to be any more books, so I wasn't reading it for, oh, what's going to happen next? I was like, and the book's going to tell me what happened.
Yeah.
What about you?
I did actually end up liking it better.
Okay.
There were certain parts I liked more. A lot of parts I think I actually liked more. However, there were still parts that I did have issues with. And I know that we're going to go over that in just a second, but I did enjoy it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. What did you like about Silver Flames and what fired your ash arrows? Keep in mind, we'll be discussing specific scenes in just a moment.
Okay. I'm still going to try to keep it vague because we are going to be talking about the scenes a little bit later. But obviously for liking Cassian, I mean, he's right there. And then you mentioned this too, the world building. Like it was really good in this book, everything with the trove. And if you have read the entire Maasverse like me, or even if you've only read one of the other series, this is the best book for the Maasverse lore in general. So something that ironically, I don't know if it's ironic or not, I'm probably misusing this word here, but one of the things I didn't like about this book is it took me so long to read because I was annotating like every other page. I was like, oh my God, there's just too much. Like in a way it was too much. And that kind of like threw me out of the story a little bit because I was like, I got to dig deep for the clues. But I do like that. I love that it had as much as it did. And I also did enjoy the Valkyrie subplot. That was something that last time was one of the only things I liked about Silver Flames. I was like, well, thank God there's at least something happening with the Valkyries. But that's what I liked. What about you?
So I know I really already touched on this, but like the world building, obviously, also the Valkyrie subplot right there with you. That was fun. I wish I would have learned more about the Valkyrie, but that was interesting. I would like a book of the original Valkyrie. That would be cool.
I'm sure
that would be cool.
That we're going to get more of the Valkyries, not only just their history in general, but also just more Gwyn and Emery, because they're great. Like, I just got to throw that out there now. I like them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So those were probably the parts I also really liked. I liked every scene in the library.
Yeah.
I really find the library so fascinating.
Yes. And the priestesses like Meryl and the research.
The dynamics. It's also interesting.
All the research that Meryl's doing. I'm like, okay, so 26 worlds, Sarah. Are we committing to 26? Is that what I'm hearing?
Where's Meryl's book? Okay.
I was like, who the fuck is Meryl? And then like the next page, oh, okay, so she's the daughter of a god? Or like, I forgot what it was already, but I was like, this is very interesting. Now we've talked about what we've liked, but what fired our ash arrows? What did you not like?
For me,
we're going to keep this list short.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I had to like sum it up, is that as soon as I was getting into things I found really interesting, we were back to like Nesta Cassian drama that I just wasn't enjoying.
I literally said the same exact thing. It was like one step forward, two steps back.
Exactly. And I feel like this was a book where the plot was driving the characters to a certain extent, which I don't enjoy. I want to see their choices actually making a difference, and often didn't feel that way.
Yeah. It wasn't until after Nesta had descended the stairs where it was really her choices making a difference. To me, at least.
And I mean, it might have been some symbology to that.
That's true.
But it was a long ways into the book.
Yeah. So I'm with you there too, just with it being very character driven. Also, the ending, I really despise the trope of an FMC losing their powers. I know it gets to a point where characters do become overpowered. And in this case, Nesta is extremely overpowered. It's nice to know that she hasn't lost everything, but I was like, really? Just when you start to like a girl? But also the other thing for me, and I know this was very, very biased point of views, and we're probably going to talk about this a little bit later too, but because we had such biased point of views, I felt like we were getting character deaths for other characters to help Nesta's plot and like have Nesta seem better. Like Rhysand, we're going too much into details. Let's save that for I'm gonna pocket that.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I'm
sure we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we definitely will get into that later.
Yeah.
Now, moving on.
Okay.
Before we stay here too long. As our final book in the ACOTAR series, where does A Court of Silver Flames fall within the entire series for you, if you had to rank it? And has your series ranking changed now that we've both reread it in full for the first time?
I do think my series ranking has changed.
Okay.
I think. Mind you, it's been a very long time since I read A Court of Silver Flames.
It's been like 2024.
It was way longer for me, I think. I'm pretty sure I read it before that. But I guess for the world building that we get in it alone, which I did find fascinating and creative, right in the middle.
Yeah.
Book like third.
Yeah. I think I'm with you there. I don't know if ties are allowed because I feel I don't know if it's better than A Court of Thorns and Roses, because I have ACOTAR as number 3. And previously, I had Silver Flames at number 4. So I feel like it's tied just because even though I don't really like ACOTAR as a book, like you said, the world building is just so juicy in this one. But I just remember certain scenes like Under the Mountain and with the Will-o'-the-Wisps at Summer Solstice where I'm like, that was really nice. So it's like hard for me to say that Silver Flames is better. But I think it is. I think it's in third place now.
I feel like if I was going to judge it like based strictly on structure, I would say ACOTAR is probably just better packaged as a book as far as pacing and arcs and plot lines and the way it's like that. It feels more complete in a way. Where with A Court of Silver Flames, I kept being like, we don't go back to that. Like, everything just felt like there's a lot of loose threads. But that being said, I found the world building in this more compelling and more interesting. I just wish it had been the length of ACOTAR.
That's very valid. Yeah, Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Okay.
So if
All right.
someone has not listened to our other episodes and they just happen to be popping in for the first time to listen to our Silver Flames discussion, what is your full ranking? Like from best to worst, or worst? Let's do worst to best.
Worst to best. The bottom one is Frost and Starlight for me.
Me too.
I will say on a reread, I noticed more interesting lore drops than I did the first time around, but there's just not a lot going on in that book for me personally. And then ACOTAR, but with A Court of Silver Flames in it, very close. And then A Court of Mist and Fury, and then top is Wings and Ruin, which I think is controversial.
Yeah, I don't think it's very controversial, honestly. I don't.
I feel like most people's favorite is either ACOMAF or A Court of Silver Flames.
I do agree with you there, but I don't think that someone would be like, oh my God, that's your favorite one. I think people would understand why. So we're pretty much the same, except for I have Mist and Fury as my favorite, and then Wings and Ruin as my second favorite. But all the rest is the same.
Yeah. And I do get why ACOMAF is people's favorite. I totally get why.
Yeah, I mean, I cried 100 times in our episode.
Yeah.
Just saying all the quotes. Anyways, moving on.
All right, moving on. All right, obviously this book is the spiciest out of the ACOTAR series. I want to know how you rank the spice level. Because for me, it's about, I would say like in romantasy, if I'm just judging romantasy, it's a 4.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it's probably a 3.5 to a 4, maybe 3.75. It's probably a 4. If we're going romantasy, then yeah, because I have to tell myself, well, I would rank Quicksilver at like a 4, 4.5, and this isn't as spicy as Quicksilver. But yeah, I feel like there are some scenes that are very graphic, and then there's just a lot more frequency in the scenes.
Yeah.
So
I would say like 3.75.
That's
maybe a 4. It's like right in there. I think you're right.
We're on the same wavelength, girl. Look at us go.
Yeah.
Before we start our nested debate.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck.
Wish us luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
If you are guaranteed to survive, which trove item would you want to use?
You know, this is such an interesting question that you came up with.
Thank you.
I love this so much because I'm like none ever. But if I had to, I guess the harp. Because I'd love to like be able to just flick a string and be at your house.
Oh my God.
That'd be cool.
For me. I would also choose the harp because who doesn't want to teleport or like go through time? I'd be like, I flick a harp and I'm like, look, now I'm in Valaris and I'm in Terrasen and I'm at Karly's house and I'm at the beach. And yeah. Hopefully it doesn't, ruin our lives, but I would choose the harp as well. It's like,
assuming we could use it safely.
Yeah, I have zero desire to control an undead army or control people. That's just not my style.
Yeah. That sounds real bad all around.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. All right. Would you rather have tea with the Suriel or join the House of Wind for book club?
I mean, I really don't know the answer to this one. I might. It's just hard because I'd love to ask. There's so many questions that I would love to ask the Suriel and get the answers to. And I miss the Suriel. But the House of Wind's also really cool. And maybe if it's a homie, then I can be like, can you summon this for me? Can you summon that for me? And it would give me only 5-star reads all the time because it would know exactly what my taste is and know what I would enjoy. So there's perks to both. But I think maybe I'm leaning tea with the Suriel.
Okay. See, I think I'm leaning House of Wind because I'm afraid of what the Suriel would tell me.
Yeah.
Like, there's things I don't want to know.
Well, maybe you can set a list of, here are things you can't tell me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what are the winning lottery numbers this week? And what should I invest in?
Yeah.
No, I would ask, like, when are we going to get this book released? And what's going to happen? And what's the...
There's something with the Suriel, which I know Feyre has always had a very amicable, like, exchange of information and whatnot with the Suriel. assuming I would have that same level of amicableness,
Yeah.
maybe the Suriel, because like it would be interesting, but I don't know. There's just too much, I don't know. There's too much power in all knowing in the way the Suriel is. I think I'd probably go House of Wind book club because that just the power of that kind of scares me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's totally valid.
Okay.
Speaking of the Suriel,
Okay.
we're about to channel our inner Suriel and spill the tea on our favorite moments and quotes in A Court of Silver Flames. And trust me, we have a lot to discuss today.
Yeah.
So
Buckle up.
I know. I mean, well, this is our last discussion until ACOTAR 6, on ACOTAR specifically, because after this, we're moving on to Throne of Glass and then Crescent City. So we got to get it all in, all of our thoughts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we do.
what was your overall favorite scene in the book? I've actually listed a few, but I would like to know what your favorite scenes are.
Okay.
Or scene.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the scene when she helps Gwen with Meryl. When she helps exchange the book. I did really love that scene quite a bit. And in addition to that, I also really love the prison scene. You know me. I love everything to do with the prison and everything to do with the library. So if there's a scene in there, your girl's going to be all about it.
Oh, well, that's great to hear, Karly. That's very great to hear that you like the prison. Ha, ha, wink, wink for those listening. That's great to hear. Yeah, I actually forgot to mention the prison scene, but that was crazy. It was at that point I was like, girl, you can't even try to switch between audiobooking and physically reading anymore. You just got to sit down and read. It's too many notes. For me, I liked when those as well. And then when Nesta finally went down the stairs after cutting the ribbon, so not in her fit of rage, but when she did it for real, and then went back up and had the Starfall celebrations, followed by Rhys being rattled by that red star. I just thought that series of events was really cool. And I also enjoyed the winter solstice dances just because of the different interactions we got with Nesta and Cassian versus Eris. Because I'm just so intrigued by Eris, and it was just kind of interesting to imagine her dancing so well that she's now had a High Lord son and a duke or a prince, I forget what it was, both try to propose to her immediately afterward. I thought it was kind of cool. And then the other scene I wanted to mention was when they went to the bog, because I could just very vividly imagine her walking out with the severed head and wearing the mask. Yeah. And to me, that just goes really hard. And we've talked about this in other episodes. We both love when that imagery is there and you can just like very clearly see it. And for me, that's one of those moments.
Yeah, it is really good. It is very like vivid when you're reading it.
Yeah, it was like, period.
Yeah, that Kelpie was just so gross.
Yeah, no, to be clear, I was cringing for all that part. But when she killed it, I was like, yeah, that's right, girl.
Yeah. All right, what were your feelings about no longer being in Feyre's mind and instead only having Nesta and Cassian's POV? Did you love it? Hate it? Have your opinions changed since it's been a reread?
So I was starting to get into this a little bit earlier. I still miss Feyre, to be very extremely clear. I would love to go back to her, but I know we're probably never going to go back to Feyre's point of view. Before I reread this book, I was like, I literally will never be able to read another ACOTAR book if it's in Nesta's point of view. Like, I will not do it. And so every single time I'd reread ACOTAR, I never reread this book. But now I have. I'm outing myself here. I'm being so for real. But I don't hate Nesta's point of view anymore. Like, I can do it. I enjoy it. And I think it helps because I was actually like mentally prepared for it. And I went into it having this mindset of, I'm not going to hate her because it's Nesta. Like, I want to understand her better. And I think that was very helpful. That said, it's still extremely biased. And so I was getting into the character deaths. People didn't actually die, but what I mean is because she's so biased and so obviously hates Rhysand, things are going to be very skewed. And she even has Cassian calling her out on her shit a couple times with how she treats Rhysand. I do not subscribe on Rhysand being a villain or being evil or whatever. And it just, I hated that Feyre had to take a back seat, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more further on. But just Feyre taking a back seat and Rhysand taking a back seat and even Amryn just kind of being useless and not doing anything. I just like didn't vibe with that. I don't really think that answers the question, but that's how I felt.
Okay. All right. I understand that.
Okay.
I feel like Nesta, the first 60% of this book was pretty rough to be in her head. Not that I need to love every character to be in their head and understand them and experience things from their point of view.
Yeah.
But there was a bit of repetitiveness that was a little within her thought process that was a little frustrating to read.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily miss Feyre. I feel like I kind of got a part of her story and that was interesting and moving on is fine.
That's true.
There's just other characters I think I would have wanted more. Like if I would have had a wish list, Nesta would not have been at the top of that wish list for like the next POV. That being said, I think her POV going forward would be more enjoyable from this book. But
which is funny.
She was a little rough.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I actually think we're probably not getting her point of view, but we'll talk about that in our theories episode. Well, we have thoughts on what POVs. I mean, who knows? At that point, we might finally know. But at the time that we're recording this, we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm with you on that, though. I don't think we are.
Yeah, I don't really think we're going to get more. But, I mean, they are advertising Valkyrie stuff. Like the other day, they had a Pilates class, I think, and with Bloomsbury. But, yeah, no, I didn't hate her point of view this time around. But I was a little sad with how these other characters that I love were portrayed because of that. So that's all I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I do just really quickly want to talk about this. We were robbed of a threesome. Nesta wanted it with Cassian and Azriel, and I wanted it too. So, Karly, what were your thoughts on this? And do you think SJM will be brave enough to give the people what they want?
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she say at one point that there was like either a written or a planned scene for this, and her publisher had her pull it back?
I've never sought out a source, but I do believe that is fandom lore. So I will say yes, that it did exist.
Okay.
And then it was changed.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it was ever supposed to be like a real thing that happened or a fantasy that she had in her head.
I mean, Nesta did have a fantasy. She was thinking about it.
I'm just wondering if we got it in more detail in like 4K, but
that'd be nice.
Listen, your girl loves the white shoes. I have been vocal about wanting the next ACOTAR book to be a white shoe.
I know. We do talk about how we want the mating situation to go in our foreshadowing section a little bit later. And I answer for like two different people for the same character. And I'm like, girl, wait, but they can't both be with them. I'm like, or can they?
Can they?
No, I was like, girl, like you need to fully commit. You can't just tease us with this and then not give us a threesome.
Yeah. Listen, we still have book 6, okay?
6, 7, and 8. Let's go.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
All right. This is a hot topic we didn't talk about in our Frost and Starlight episode, and we need to discuss it now. Feyre's pregnancy. How we personally feel about it and how all the characters reacted. Kinsey, go off.
I will start us off, but please feel free to interrupt at any time. I absolutely fucking hate it. To be clear, I just do not like pregnancy tropes in general. And I know that Sarah J Maas was personally going through a lot of life changes while writing this. I believe she had literally been pregnant herself and had her own child by the time that she was writing this. But the whiplash that the readers get from Feyre saying, and mind you, she's literally 20, 21 at this point, and Rhysand's 500 plus. She's saying, I want to experience the world first, and she's accepting herself as Fae, and then to immediately become pregnant on the very first try, that was just too much for me. Like, I don't want to read about that, and I'm sorry if this is like an unpopular opinion, but I didn't like that for Feyre. That's her choice, and she can choose that for herself, but it just didn't seem in line with her other thoughts from previous. It just seemed very out of character. So I didn't like that. And again, not a fan of pregnancy trope in general. But then to have Feyre just take a back seat, she was so awesome in Wings and Ruin and like all of her powers. And then she's like, oh yeah, well, actually now I need to have a shield around me 24/7. Nobody actually respects me and everyone will lie to my face and I can't go anywhere or do anything and I'm just going to show up every once in a while for a cameo. That's essentially what it felt like. And you're telling me that they cannot perform a cesarean section, even though Cassian was literally disemboweled in Rings and Ruin. And I want to say that that literally happened to him like 2 times. And then the other thing was, so she's actively in labor. And at this point, she couldn't shift into her Illyrian form. It just seemed like Sarah J Maas was creating all of these really dumb loopholes or not a loophole, like a weird, I don't want to say plot hole, like all these rules for.
It felt like forced conflict that didn't fit the narrative that had been built already.
Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly it. I wrote down here, at that point, Nyx is fully developed and being evicted, so magic shouldn't hurt. I can't believe I said being evicted. Anyway, no, but like seriously, I'm like, girl, if they can put Cassian's bowels back inside of him, what the fuck do you think a C-section is, bro?
I'm just with you on this. I feel like it didn't fit what Feyre had already been previously saying, what she wanted and how she wanted more time.
I wanted more adventures.
Yeah, and she is so young. And I know we've talked a lot about being like, we just want our FMCs to have fully developed frontal lobes.
No, but she literally doesn't even have one yet.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people out there that would argue, well, she's Fae and she went through the cauldron and it changed her and it made her permanently how she's going to be. And like, okay, fine, whatever. But there's just a part of me that's like, I don't know. It just not what she had said that she wanted. And then suddenly there's this big turnaround with her decision. And then there's like instantly a pregnancy. And then there's also, again, this very traumatic birth scene. And if you are listening to this and you haven't read the book because you've heard about this and you want us to send you the pages to skip because you don't want to read that part, just let us know.
And you've somehow ignored our spoiler warning at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. But maybe you're listening to this because you don't want to read the book because you're scared or whatever.
That's fine.
We will send you the pages you can skip. But yeah, the inability to do C-sections just felt like this very forced conflict in the narrative
and to not use
make this
magic
work. Like no magic can help, nothing can do. And I was right there with you. I was like, why can't, like, I instantly thought, why can't she just shift into her Illyrian form the moment she goes into labor? Or just right then when Magda's like, stop shifting back and forth, it's like, okay, well, what's one more gonna do? Shift one more and then never do it again. I don't know. That whole thing, it doesn't make sense to me. It still bothers me because, again, my brain likes rules in their world building. And when things don't make sense, it, like, makes my brain itch. It doesn't like it. And that whole thing just did not work for my brain.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm more upset with Feyre becoming irrelevant or Feyre changing her mind, or how it was all handled. Like, I genuinely don't know what upsets me more. But speaking of how it was handled, I'm just going to address it now because this is a huge debate that people do also have regarding this book, is Nesta telling Feyre that she's going to die. Because a lot of people are like, well, Rhys should have told her and he's fucked up because he didn't tell her. And, like, I do think he should have told her. I don't think he should have waited as long as he did and told everybody else. Like, their first mistake was telling Nesta. I don't know why the fuck they would tell her and not Feyre, first of all. But I understand not wanting her to be afraid because that increases your cortisol levels and that can create all these other health risks, and she's already high-risk pregnancy and all these issues. But I don't think that people should be okay with how Nesta handled it because they're like, well, she's the only one who actually had the balls to tell her. She only told Feyre that to hurt her. That was her intention. So I'm not like, she's not high and mighty in this scene foretelling her. She literally only did that to hurt her. So I don't agree with that.
I think to me it's whether or not you agree with the fact that somebody did the wrong thing for the right reasons or the right thing for the wrong reasons, and which one is better in your mind. And I don't know that there necessarily is a better, but I don't hate Rhysand for not telling her the way other people do.
No, I don't either.
Because I think he made a mistake, and I think he really was just living in a little bit of hopeful delusion that he was going to find a solution and he wasn't going to have to tell her and scare her, and that this whole thing wasn't going to come to pass. And mind you, she went into early labor.
Yeah.
Like the baby came like what, 2 months?
I think it was 2 months,
3 months. Or, And so he thought he had more time. Obviously, he didn't. I'm not saying he shouldn't have told her. He definitely should have. But the whole time I was reading that play out in the book, I just kept thinking that there's this like, I don't know if you want to call it a proverb or an adage, but there's like this Chinese adage that they say where two women go to the doctor, one is diagnosed with cancer, the other isn't. Turns out the doctors have like switched their diagnoses, and the one who was told they had cancer dies within months, and the person who wasn't told they had cancer lives for like years because they didn't live with the stress of like knowing that they had cancer. And so I just kept thinking about that when I was reading this, of like, if you could save somebody the pain of it and like fix it, would you? I'm not saying I would keep something about their own body from them, but if there was a big problem and I thought I could solve it and it would keep this person from being heartbroken, maybe I would try and then tell them.
Because at this point, there's really nothing to do. And I think he was looking for a solution first to be like, hey, just so you know, this is what's happening, but here's our game plan. And that would make a lot of sense for him waiting. But yeah, I do just think it created a lot of problems. And then the other frustrating part was just the whole death bond thing again. Like, brother, you gotta, the death pact.
Listen, the death pact makes me so mad, because if you're going to plan to have children someday, you don't make it so that they will definitely be orphaned if something happens to one of you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that is the most selfish thing you could possibly do.
Yeah. No, it's pretty crazy.
That is so messed up.
Oof. Okay, I think we're past our most controversial
Are we done ranting?
topic. Yeah, that's my biggest beef with this book, really. So.
And I get why people are upset with parts of it, especially the race part. I get why people are really upset with that, because he definitely should have told her. But I just understand when you love somebody so much and you want to protect them from everything and you want them to have this joyful experience, and he did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Isn't that like a Hannah Montana song?
Oh, I don't know. I never watched Hannah Montana.
Oh, okay.
I'm too old. That was my younger siblings. All right. Lighter topic. Are you surviving the blood rite?
Probably not. Are you surviving the blood rite?
Oh, God, no, girl.
No.
I can't even camp.
You know what? I do love camping. I love backpacking and hiking. So if I'm not being hunted, then I think I'd be fine. But since I am a woman, I probably will be hunted if it's in the Illyrian world and I'm like in it, like Nesta, then I'm probably not surviving. But if it's just like regular, like just go camp for a week and hike up this mountain, I could do that.
I wouldn't survive either. I'm an indoor cat, strictly indoor cat.
Yeah. But I mean, as a side note, since this is, I think, probably the only time we're going to mention the blood rite, the power of friendship charm bracelet, that was a little bit silly. I know why she had to do it, but yeah. And then they're like, we're going to not do the easy route. We're going to do exactly what the Bat Boys did because girls can do it better.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works. Got to show those boys.
Yeah, show them up. Now, I don't know if this is meant to be obvious and I'm just refusing to believe it because I'm a delusional theorist, but I want to get your take. Was the mysterious shadow in the House of Wind library ever definitively explained? Like, is it for sure the house because it was in the heart of the pit. She just briefly saw a shadow. Or is it possible it could have also been Koschei or even Asriel? Or like, is it like Kinsey? It's obviously the house. You need to move on.
Well, I mean, at one point they say that maybe like a part of Bryaxis was left behind.
Oh, it could have been. Yeah, because she saw a movement.
Yeah. And so they're like, well, maybe Bryaxis left a piece of herself behind.
Well, do you think Bryaxis is the house? They're separate entities, right? I feel like they gotta be.
I think so, based on how Bryaxis behaves and the house behaves. They seem like they've got very different goals.
You know, that's a good point.
But that being said, I don't know that I'm buying that it's simply a piece of Bryaxis. I think there is something under that mountain that house is built on that we don't know yet.
Well, and also, I need to make sure I don't say anything I'm not supposed to say.
Okay.
So we did learn that the Daglin invented the trove using the cauldron. We did. This is confirmed. Okay. So
I believe so.
Yeah. And they say that made items can assume their own sentience. And Amren had said during Starfall that Nesta made the house, but the house was already doing things like that before Nesta had that gift. Like, it wasn't as friendly of a house, but that leads me to believe the Daglin already did make the house, and its sentience just took a little bit longer, maybe perhaps because it's a larger object and requires a bit more magic. I don't know.
I also think maybe it was just attracted to Nesta and like responds well to her because it doesn't respond to her other people.
Like calls to like.
Yeah, I hate saying that because it says so much in the series. It like hurts.
I know.
But
I know.
There is this feeling of like it preferred Nesta. And it kind of came out of its shell for Nesta and was like willing to do things for her. It wasn't necessarily willing to do things for their people. Also, she seemed to sense it in the house, while I don't think other people did. I think we might find out that because like at the end of this book, we still don't know what Nesta's real freaking powers are. Like what her normal Fae powers. No. And maybe it has something to do with that. Like sensing the power within things or something. Because she seemed to like notice it when other people didn't. And I kind of think the house was always a little bit more sentient than they realized. And Nesta was the one that like figured it out and noticed and like interacted with it in a way it preferred. And so it was like willing to hang out with her.
Yeah, fully agree. So to go back a bit, that shadow specifically, you think was potentially a part of Bryaxis that remained. And
well, they think it's a part of Bryaxis.
Oh, okay.
I think that's possible. That's what the priestesses tell her at one point. They're like, oh, perhaps it's a part of Bryaxis that was like left behind, because they're like, well, Bryaxis never bothered us, and they like knew it was down there, but they were like, well, you know, we just like leave each other alone. Like, okay. But that being said, I don't know that it's part of Bryaxis or if it's what made Bryaxis. And I think potentially whatever made Bryaxis came from deep within that mountain, and they don't know what's down there yet.
And that's kind of where I'm leaning, but I can't necessarily go further there.
Okay.
Perhaps it's an interdimensional being.
I mean, allegedly 26 worlds / realms on top of each other.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right.
Because that's not why we're reading all 16 books before the 6th book releases.
Listen, just in case. Maybe at the end of this, there'll be 26 books, okay?
Girl, I would not be complaining.
Okay.
I would not be complaining.
I might.
That's true. Yeah, I'm thinking it could be whoever made the house, whatever power made the house, and or Koschei somehow snuck in and broke a ward just because he was doing that shit for Brialyn. I don't know. Or maybe it was just Asriel was like being a little spy. I don't. I'm not leaning towards Asriel or Koschei. I'm leaning towards something else.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards not Bryaxis itself, but whatever would make Bryaxis. That's where I'm going.
Cool.
All right. After being hinted at and edged since Mist and Fury, how did you feel when Nesta got past her denial and it was finally finally revealed that Nesta and Cassian are mates. And how did you react to their scenes throughout the book?
Girl, I mean, we all knew it forever. So it was so nice to finally get it. And there were so many moments throughout the book where they're like, oh yeah, she gets it now. Like, she knows. And then she continued acting that way. But all of their scenes were, well, no, I won't say all. Most of their scenes are really nice. Like, I'm not going to complain about the spicy scenes. But there were moments where I'm like, you need to treat him nicer. And even him too. Like, he was kind of being mean to her too. And I'm like, you guys need to be nicer to each other. And Cassian knew that they were mates like the whole time. So I'm like, you guys gotta be nicer. But I did enjoy their scenes throughout the book. And I do love that the final reveal happened to be a say it out loud, like Twilight reference. As a side note, speaking of Twilight, when Cassian was kissing Nesta when she was possessed during her scrying, it reminded me so much of what they say the book accurate kissing is like for vampires, because they're like, it's like kissing a cold ceramic statue. And to me, that was just like she's just like there possessed, and he's like making out with her in front of the whole inner circle and talking about how cold she is on my brother. Like, that's weird.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I did think that the spice scenes were well done. Mm-hmm. The spice that we had. Mm-hmm. The Twilight reference was hilarious.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. We knew they were mates forever. And so the final confrontation about it just felt a little anticlimactic to me.
A little bit. And then to her just be like, here's a cracker. And he's like, bitch, I want a whole ceremony. And he's like, okay. And we still haven't gotten it yet. So I don't know if we ever will. So far, Sarah's track record's not great. I don't think
We've had 5 books and 0.
I don't think she knows what happens in mating ceremonies herself. So,
I mean, I guess it could be whatever she wants.
Yeah. So it'd be nice if we actually get the party, but I highly doubt that we're getting the party.
Yeah. I also doubt it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Too much going on, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, there's still barons on the run trying to ally with anyone but the other High Lords, and Koschei, there's Vasa and Jurian and Lucian and so many things.
So many things.
Okay. So do you think Moore actually returned the Dread Trove at the end of the book? Because Nesta had said, oh yeah, Moore's gonna go Winnow and return the trove. And I personally don't understand why Moore would be the one in charge of this when she wasn't even there to learn Helian's spells. And they're always like, you can't have all 3 objects. That's so dangerous. And then they're like, yeah, Moore, who is missing in Valahan the entirety of this book except for like 2-3 scenes. They're like, yeah, we'll just have her handle the trove after like 3 people almost died.
Yeah, well, and I'm like, what does it even mean to return the trove? Because it seems like the trove kind of just does what it wants and goes where it wants when it wants to.
I would keep it with Nesta, right? To be honest. I think the safest place for the trove at this point would be someone who can control it.
Yeah, I don't know that Moore is like putting aside for her to use.
Yeah.
Or like to like
create
trade
a
or to
fake or something.
Or, or like as some sort of subterfuge. Like, I don't know that that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. I could see her putting it somewhere else, not wanting anyone to actually know where it is, and no one could use it, including like Rhysand or Amren, like because of like degrading trust in them. But I don't know that she's like would put it somewhere in the sense that like so she could use it later or like trade it for power or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, they're going to go put it away. Like what? It kind of just like showed up when it felt like it, right? Like it was just like it just showed up to Nesta when she needed it most. So I'm like, it kind of seems like it could just go where it wants and do what it wants. So I don't see the point of putting it anywhere, but okay.
Well, you know how Rhys can just put things in a subliminal space? And I think Tamlin does too. Why can't she just learn how to do that and just always keep a part of her power focused on hiding it away?
Maybe they should have done what Amren said, which is where she thought it was, which is at the bottom of the ocean, if they really wanted no one to ever find it again.
I think that's also just dangerous to do. You don't know what's lurking down in these waters.
Yeah,
there could be another Kelpie down there. That's where it was in the bog. It'll find a way.
But the Kelpie wasn't using it, though, to be fair.
That is true.
But I don't know that there is a safe place for the trove.
Yeah, I just thought it was very strange. I don't remember that happening. And I'm sure that if she put it somewhere it wasn't supposed to be, I think a few days had taken place. So they would have said something if she just disappeared. They're pretty busy with the newborn baby. But I think people would have been like, has anyone seen more?
Yeah.
Or the trove, for that matter. But I just remember, I think it was Amryn who had warned Rhysand in Frost and Starlight, and she said, you know, you got to be really careful with how you're treating Mor with Kyr and Eris, because that's not going to be good. I don't know. I just don't trust Mor personally.
Yeah. I don't know that I think Mor is like out here looking for a power grab or specifically to hurt people, but I could see her making moves to do what she thinks is right with like the Court of Nightmares and whatnot, and like, and I could see her like just going nuclear. Yeah, but I don't see her necessarily wanting power. If that makes sense. In fact,
I'm like fairly confident that the trove was placed back. This is just my excuse to be like, I don't trust her, but I'm still like, how does she know how to wield the same spells as Helion? They literally had to bring him in to show him how to do that. She was in there, like, I don't know.
I mean, a lot of stuff happens off page in these books.
Yeah. I think that was my issue mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I getcha. Okay. All right. Everybody wants to know, did you cry this time, Kinsey?
I stuck to my brand, and yes, I did, surprisingly or not. I did not cry the first time I read this book, and I've mentioned this a million times. I tried to give this a second chance and go into it with an open mind with less prejudice against Nesta. So I do think I succeeded in that. I did connect a lot more with her as a character and her mental health journey, and I was also super triggered by the ending. So I was crying. Specifically when I think this was towards the beginning of the book, but when Nesta was wanting to scream and this was just going on in her head as a thought that she's worthless and nothing, that she hates everything that she is and is tired of wanting to be anywhere but in her own head, I just like, oh, that got me. I was like, damn, I've been there a few times. So that made me cry this time. But surprisingly, I did not cry when she actually was at the lake with Cassian and had her full breakdown. I did not cry for that. But the part that triggered me was Feyre's entire birthing scene. So I already just hated that scene, and I still do, as we have discussed. But my sister recently just had a very high-risk pregnancy, and she had severely declining health, and she ended up giving birth to my nephew 3 months early, and he remained in the NICU for 4 months and is permanently disabled. So, yeah, that scene was just kind of a lot for me to read, especially when she was, like, trying to save her sister, and everything going on with the baby's health. Wasn't really a fan, and just Rhys and Feyre saying goodbye and like all these things. I was just like, I don't vibe with this. And there's also another quote that I'm gonna share in a moment that Nesta had a moment when she's speaking to the mother and the cauldron, and that quote was like a really big moment also in her mental health, and I was like, yeah, that's a really good quote. So that made me cry. And just visiting her father's grave, because I'm a sucker for tying things in, and how she went back to the cottage and got his flower and put it on the gravestone. I was just like, oh, it made me just tear up a little bit, how they were all there for the first time. And it just showed her growth of being able to face that. So,
yeah. I'm
assuming you did not cry.
I did not cry.
Did you cry once in this series? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I got like a little emotional when I was listening to the graphic audio of Feyre begging Rhys to not die in ACOTAR.
That fucks me up.
But I wasn't crying. But I was like misty and like, oh, like I didn't get that way when I read it, only when I listened to the graphic audio because she was so upset.
I'm so curious to see if you'll cry in Throne of Glass series.
I am sure I will eventually. Everybody talks about how one of the books near the end like just destroys them, but I
I'm excited.
I think I'm feeling a little jaded this year with my reading. I feel like I cried easier last year when I would read books. I cried reading everything last year.
Me too.
And this year, I have not cried, I don't think, when reading. I'm trying to think if I cried during a book this year, and I don't think I have.
Did you cry in Project Hail Mary?
I cry. Okay, I did get teary. I don't cry like you cry.
No,
like,
I know.
Crying for me is like having a tear.
I feel everything all at once, and I can't detach reality from these books. I'm in it.
No, I understand. When he, I don't want to give any Project Hail Mary spoilers, but there was a moment.
Yeah.
There,
I know.
If you listen to that episode,
I know.
I teared up.
Okay, so you did cry.
Yeah, I teared up a little. All right, it is time for and when I say I mean Kinsey's favorite quotes. What were you able to narrow it down to this week, Kins?
To be so clear, you guys, I did narrow it down to 3, so you should be very, very proud of me. And
very
2
proud.
of them are funny, and one of them will make me cry. So Asriel to Cassian, he said, "Did something happen that I, as your chaperone, should know about?" I was like, "Sir, you know the fucking... Like, don't play games. They don't need a chaperone, okay? Everyone knows they're fucking." And then when Nesta and Cassian were searching for the mask, Nesta said, "What if the mask is in the water?" And Cassian said, "Then Az and I will draw straws like the tough warriors we are, and the loser goes in." And to me, that just cracked me up. I said 3 quotes, but just really quickly, a 4th one, put your hands on the headboard.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then I'm not going to cry when I read this. When Nesta is having a conversation with the mother, she realizes that she no longer wants numbness. Instead, she says, "We need those things in order to appreciate the good. Some days might be more difficult than others, but I want to experience all of it, live through all of it with them." And then the mother, I'm assuming it was the mother, I'm just like calling them that, says, "So live, Nesta Archeron." I was #triggered. It was very good, though. Very good.
I would say that's a very great quote, and I think it's very telling of people's mental health journeys, because I do think you do get to a point where feeling things becomes too much. Mm-hmm. And I often think sometimes I experience the world very, very intensely. Mm-hmm. And so for a very long time, I resisted feeling anything because it was just overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And allowing yourself to feel can be very difficult for some of us.
Yeah.
And I have worked on it in therapy for years to try to just allow myself to feel feelings and not be scared or overwhelmed by that.
Yeah.
Because it can be a lot.
It is a lot. And I've learned through my own mental health journeys, and like I have a lot of diagnoses, okay? I'm not going to out myself here. But
between the 2 of us, it's a list.
It is a whole list. So we've both gone through therapy. I'm on medication, but I've found, I don't like numbness. I do like feeling the emotions. I'd rather like feel something than nothing. And so to read that quote, and I mean, I've had these issues even the first time I had read the book, but it just didn't hit me the same way as it did this time. But that's just, I mean, it's the ending, and I keep saying that was a pivotal moment, but like that was truly, it was just such a great moment, I think, for Nesta's character to be like, wait, no, I do have to deal with all of this and continue to work through it. And she had even had similar conclusions when she was with Cassian and the Valkyries, etc. But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. I do think that quote was very telling of experience with mental health journey. And so I did appreciate that one as well.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the characters we'd cross the wall for, or not.
Starting with our FMC, Nesta, because we can't stop talking about her.
Yeah, she's a lot of this book.
Yeah, I mean, this actually transitions really well from that last quote, because we got her addiction recovery and her mental health journey to becoming a Valkyrie and finding, wielding, and creating her own trove. Nesta went through a lot.
She did.
So are we crossing the wall for her? Where do you stand with her now? And like Feyre, do you forgive her? Lots of questions.
Yeah, that's a big pile of questions there. Okay,
Take
so
one at
here's
a
the deal.
time.
Yeah. The first time I read this book, I was so annoyed with Nesta. The first time I read this book.
I feel it.
And I'm not going to lie, I still felt a lot of that this book. There's a lot of like repetitive, so-and-so's choosing so-and-so over me, and a lot of really immature thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, I probably had a lot of really immature thought patterns in my early 20s. Like,
That's true.
So I want to be cognizant of that. And I understand that she's been through trauma. I do get that.
Everybody has.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their traumas, right? And it's not a competition. Like, they're all different. They're all unique.
Mm-hmm.
And they all affect us in different ways. And we all deal with it in different ways. And I really do get that. And I think that there is something powerful about her journey through this self-loathing and all of this shame and whatnot. But that being said, it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pages of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little too much for me personally to read. I have respect for the journey and the arc. But my biggest issue is that it's never actually addressed with Nesta.
Oh.
Nobody ever addresses it, and I don't ever see people talking about it. And this is the thing that drives me personally crazy about Nesta.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to explain this succinctly because it makes sense in my head.
I'm sad.
But I'm gonna try.
I'm ready.
And so she mentions in the book her preference for Elaine. She acknowledges that she has a preference for Elaine and that she doesn't care about Feyre as much. And here's the deal. Listen, I don't know her whole relationship with Feyre. And I don't want to be like, well, I would literally die for my sisters, so then I should expect that of Nesta. That's not fair. Like, everybody's relationship with people is their relationship with people, and that's totally fair. That being said, she uses Feyre for whatever she needs for years, for food, to survive. And there is this moment where she's thinking back to a moment when she realizes, back when they're living in that little cabin. I don't know which one to call it.
Cabin, cottage, hovel.
Yeah.
All of the above.
With her sisters. And she's thinking about how if Feyre doesn't come back with food, that she's going to have to try to convince that boy who likes her to take in her and Elaine. But not Feyre.
Oh.
Like, it doesn't even come up. And she never even thinks about the fact that she's not thinking of Feyre.
Damn.
And for me, the issue is, if you are willing to use somebody to survive, and you would not turn around and try to do what you could to also help them survive, you are a user. And I don't need friends like that.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was exactly what I had an issue with the first time reading the book. And it's something I do still have an issue with, part of her character. And I also had written down here for Elaine, I mean, I'll just say it here too, but she's not blameless because she does the same thing. Nesta had said Elaine was like a dog, loyal to whatever master kept her fed and in comfort. And all I have to say to that is yes, they're both like that. And I kind of don't respect Elaine for jumping ship and going from loving Nesta to suddenly being, oh, well, now Feyre's taking care of me, so I'm on Feyre's side. That said, I find it very bitch made that I had forgotten why Nesta and Amren had a falling out. And when it was revealed that the falling out was because, well, you chose Feyre over me, I was like, that is the most insecure bullshit I have ever heard. And I don't respect that. And that's crazy because you do have a good point. I don't know if she was just assuming that if Feyre didn't come back home with food, that meant that Feyre had died in the woods and was attacked by something. And maybe that's why she wasn't thinking about Feyre. But that's crazy.
It's not the way it's written. It's like she assumes she's going to leave like Feyre with her father.
No, and that's crazy. And even with how Nesta does feel about Elaine at the end when she has said, I love you to Feyre, she's like, that's the first time I've ever said that out loud to anyone. Because we know how she treats Feyre. But I'm like, you've never even said I love you to Elaine? Like, nobody? That's wild to me.
I mean, that is wild. And listen, there's a lot of these things I could chalk up to trauma and being like, you've been traumatized. It's hard for you to say I love you. It's hard for you to admit that you love people because you're so afraid of losing people. And I have had some very unhealthy thought patterns and ways of behaving because out of fear of losing the people I love and trying to control my environment and whatnot so that I wouldn't lose the people I love, which life doesn't work that way. I mean, we're years of therapy, okay?
Yeah.
And so a lot of that I can chalk up to like trauma and the way she was raised and all of these things. The thing I feel like is inconsistent in her character and that is never, ever addressed is the fact that she keeps talking about how she hates herself for being a coward during that time, but she wasn't a coward. She's not addressing the real issue. She would have died defending Elaine. She would have died defending herself. We see how hard she fought for her and Elaine when it came down to the cauldron. We saw her step in front of Elaine when it was to protect her from Tamlin in his beast form. She is not a coward. She uses people for what she needs, and she's okay with using them for it and discarding them. And I think that's gross.
I agree. That's very gross.
And it's like, okay, if you're not close with your sister, fine. If you're not close with Feyre, fine. But stop using her.
I'm glad that she went through this journey. And I know some people are like, well, that's hypocritical because Feyre was traumatized when she was locked up. And now they're just doing what Tamlin did to her and blah, blah, blah. Like, I do think it's different because sometimes you have friends and family members who need help like that. And I'm like, she basically was sent to rehab and she needed it and it saved her life. So I don't think it's the same situation.
I mean, interventions are tough because it's like sometimes they're the right move and sometimes they're not the right move with some people. And she was clearly dealing with like toxic, almost addict-like behavior in order to avoid her feelings. And that it was killing her. Like, listen, I'd do some crazy things to save my sister if I thought she was gonna die from like something like that. If it meant sending her to rehab, I would do it. Did they do it exactly the right way? Probably not. Were they all doing it for the right reasons? No, but I believe her sisters were doing it for the right reasons. They loved her. They didn't want to see her destroy herself, and they, did what they thought they could. The option they thought they had available to them. And maybe there were better options, but they didn't think of it.
Now, going back to where we stand with her now, so obviously we both have like that issue with her. I still would argue we didn't even get like a great apology. I mean, she fully owned up to how she was with Amren, and I did highly respect that of her. When I had read that, she's like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done this when she was apologizing at Starfall. I will say just in general, I feel like I do forgive her and like her. I don't know if 100% forgive her. I feel like maybe Feyre was a little quick, but I mean, she did just save her life. So that's different. That's very different.
Yeah.
For me, I'd be like, I feel like I need to see a little bit more to trust you. But I'm glad that she's doing better. I don't despise her character. I think I like her character, and I hope she continues to grow in the next books and treat Cassian better. And I remember the first time I had read this book, something that bothered me too was that I felt like she was replacing her sisters with the Valkyries and was like, well, I have my own sisters now and my own inner circle. And it bothered me. I was like, so you're just, because they don't know your background, you're going to move on to these other people and confide in them. And I remember
it bothered me too.
Yeah. And I remember being really bothered by that. But this time around, I wasn't actually bothered by her relationship with them. I didn't see it the same way, which is good.
Emery and Gwyn, to a certain extent, were playing the role of almost like therapists. And it still does bother me how much more grace and kindness she could show them while going through this mental health journey than she could show her sisters during this time. But that being said, like, they are kind of like this clean slate.
Yeah.
And you do see that with people when they're going through stuff, where the people who are like new in their life that they don't have this baggage with, that it's almost a less, because there's like less contention in the relationship.
Yeah.
But if I was one of her sisters, I would have been probably hurt by that.
Yeah. And I think at the time I was way more like headstrong with Feyre and relating to her a lot more. And now I don't relate to Feyre as much as like the other FMCs that I've read. So at the time I was like, wow, she's just treating her like shit and like doing all these things, blah, 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 just replacing her. And I'm like, so she can love people, but I don't feel that way this time around. I'm glad she made the decisions that she made this time. I can stand her. Like, I'm not saying this to be mean or hurt people who love Nesta, but like I couldn't fuck with Nesta at all before. There's a reason I'm doing this to expose myself to be like, hey, no, like you can't change your opinion on things. And now I do like her. Yeah. Like I'm like, she's got cool powers. I want to see more of her powers. We still don't even know what her trove does.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, and we're going to go into that a little bit later, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about Nesta a lot here. Do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah. I'll just say for me, I'm interested to see Nesta in the future because we get her character arc kind of at the end of the book. We get the apologies and the realization and the I love yous all at the very, very end of the book. So for me, it's like the character's actions over time that matter the most. Yes. So I'm interested to see how she treats her sisters
moving forward
in the following books. Yes. And I think characters deserve a chance to grow.
Just like people.
And I think she deserves that chance. She is very young. Like, we think of her as being the older sister, but she's still young.
They're all in their 20s.
Yeah, they're all in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, growing left to do. All right, moving on. Let's discuss everyone's favorite emotionally intelligent bat boy next. How did you feel about Cassian?
I love him. Yeah, he's great.
I do love Cassian. I wish we would have gotten more, I don't know, insight into him. Like, I still feel like I know him basically the same as I did before, despite the fact that we had his POVs.
He's not as insecure as Nesta, but he's still very insecure about him being a bastard. And I want to see him grow more. We do actually get to see him dealing with the business of the courts or whatever as he's communicating with Eris and Lucian and traveling everywhere. And so it's interesting to see him step into this other role. I do wish we got an I love you out of him or any great love declaration. I think the most that we got was that he said he can't risk Nesta, and that was like the most that we got. We got more in Wings and Ruin from him in this book. But I love Cassian. I liked him more than Rhysand in this book, but I think that's a given. I don't know if I still like him more than Rhysand in general, but yeah, he's great.
I prefer Cassian personally, but that's just me. He's my kind of man.
Honestly, I think I'll probably end up preferring Azriel whenever we get his POV, but he's just so mysterious.
I know. I'm dying for an Azriel book. Okay.
A crumb of backstory, please, Sarah. I have so many theories and ideas.
I'm going to need more than a crumb, okay? I'm going to need at least a whole slice of cake.
I need everything. Like, literally, I care so much about Azriel. It's, like, not even funny.
Yeah. We talked pretty decently about Rhysand in the pregnancy section. Did you have any more to say on Rhysand?
I didn't like how he completely bowed down. I was like, sir, have a little bit of decency and respect for yourself. And then he's like, here, you can have a house. I'll plan your party. I'll do it.
I mean, she did save his mate and child.
Yeah.
So.
It's true.
I'd probably give up just about anything.
Yeah. Oh, I do actually want to go back just like slightly with Cassian. But, and this does go back to Nesta too. I went into Silver Flames the first time being like, Nesta sucks. She's the worst. But this time, because of everything else, I was like, everyone honestly treated her horribly. Like, no one was helping her when she needed help. And even Cassian, knowing he was her mate, didn't help as well as he could have either. And Amryn as her friend, and then just how Amryn went and was like, I'm afraid of you. So we're just going to lock you up. And like, we're not going to tell you that you can make your own trove. And we're not blah, blah, blah. Like, I did not fuck with that.
I get what you're saying. I will say there was that moment with Cassian when he's like, well, everybody hates you. And I was like, that's probably wasn't
No,
great.
and he's like, and I'm shackled to you. I'm like, sir.
Yeah, that wasn't great. But I will say he put up with a lot from her.
A lot.
So everybody has a breaking point, and I feel like he deserves a little grace for
That's
everything.
true, because you do have to defend yourself
lot.
against abuse like that from other people.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for the way people are reacting to Nesta because of the way she's continuing to treat them over and over and over again, and then they get painted as a bad guy, and I'm like, yeah, reaction to emotional abuse happens.
Yeah.
So I think some of them deserve some grace. I don't necessarily love their reasonings for helping her, which some of them seems very self-serving about how it looks for them in the court and things. Not all of them seem super concerned about her. But that being said,
yeah,
I think I'd be over it too. I wouldn't be letting people treat me like that.
Yeah, you can't just like let everyone walk over you. So, and to be very clear, like, I don't want it to come across as we're being super negative here. These were our critiques of the book and just like our thoughts as we were reading them. But at least for myself, and I'm sure Karly can feel similarly, we're Gucci with them now. Like, we're all at a good place. I literally have in my Kindle notes, I was like, we are family. Like, after Nesta had saved everybody, I was like just thinking of the song. And no, like, I think everyone's in a good place now, and I do like all the characters.
No, and I don't think the point of any character or book is to like the characters the whole time you're reading them. Yes. That's boring.
Yes,
I don't want that. Like, just because I don't like a character for a portion of a book doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the book, and doesn't mean that that character didn't grow an arc and I like where they're left. Like, those are different things. If I don't like a book, I'll just be like, this book was trash and like, being able to speak critically about a book is because of how it's written well enough to talk about it critically. Like, exactly. I don't know how to even talk about a really bad book critically other than just to be like, it was a dumpster fire. Like,
yep.
You know what I mean?
No,
so
well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Now, before I move on to the next character, did you have any comments you wanted to add?
I'm good.
Okay, let's move on to Eris, because I just find him so interesting. And Eris was more present in this book than Moore was. Are you trusting him? That was a big sigh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, if he actually was telling the truth, and they know he was telling the truth, and he actually like withstood being tortured by his own dad, then I trust that he's being honest about what he actually wants, which is to be High Lord of the Autumn Court and to take out his dad, and that he actually does want an alliance with them because it'll serve him. It doesn't mean I think he's a good person.
Yeah.
But I think if that is true about surviving torture with his dad, then I trust him a little bit.
I am probably, it's like so funny because I'm like, I have trust issues. I don't trust Asriel or Moore completely. I trust him. I don't know why. And maybe it's because I want him to be with Asriel. But
don't we all?
I agree with Cassian's take on Eris. I think that Eris is a good male, but he's just too cowardly to actually do something about it. And I know a lot of people compare Eris to Rhysand, and they say that he's Rhysand if Rhysand did not have the inner circle. Because in the Autumn Court, Eris really doesn't have any allies. And it's a rough way to grow up, but I am just so curious in seeing what happens with him. I want to see the truth about Moore exposed. I want to see Eris take out Baron. I want him to actually take actions. I don't want him to just be talk anymore. I want to see more doing. And I think he's definitely going to be playing a big, big role in the next book. So I can't wait to see his character development. But it is strange that he did arm his missing soldiers with ash arrows when that's allegedly forbidden. Because that's something he did of his own free will and choice.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's opportunistic.
Yeah, and I do think that he has to know what Nesta's powers actually are, because when he was gifted the dagger, he says, I don't want the dagger, I want her. So I think he recognizes what she's capable of and would rather have the source than the item.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think he also has caught on to a couple other things, but I can't talk about that in this episode.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. How about more? I mean, like, she's like literally not there at all.
Yeah, she is practically gone from this book. She's like mentioned in passing for the most part.
Yeah. And that's about it.
I will say that what Eris says about Moore makes me think it's not so much that like Moore is outright lying with what happened with her and Eris, so much as she's having difficulty recognizing and like admitting to herself what happened.
Okay.
I think this is an internal struggle so much as it is not like outwardly lying. So I'm going to be interested in that story. I want to know what happened.
Because for me, I feel like Asriel and Eris have both made sly comments about what happened, but can't outright say what happened. So part of me wonders if she's somehow using her power that we don't know what it is to prevent them from saying what actually happened. But who freaking knows? We'll find out. That's not for today's episode.
Yeah. Hopefully next book. All right. Moving on from our character section. Now it's time for our final seer consult before ACOTAR 6. Since the next book isn't out yet, we're picking scenes that feel like they're foreshadowing big ACOTAR 6 moments. Here are our fun Easter eggs and plot lines we can't stop thinking about as we wait for the next book's release.
Please note that we will have 2 entire episodes dedicated to theories and predictions, one to be released shortly, only containing ACOTAR series spoilers, and another theories episode after we finish the entire Maasverse that will contain theories with lore from the entire Maasverse.
Yeah, it's basically what Kinsey's been training for her whole life.
I have pages of notes already, and I'm dying to say them all, and I am keeping my cool, so.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be very difficult for me even just doing the theories episode, but so that's not what this is. I mean, we will get a little bit of theories right now, but it's only ACOTAR theories, and these are just predictions because this is basically the biggest questions we have.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
All right. Having finished reading all of the current ACOTAR books, have your feelings changed on who Asriel ends up with or who Elaine ends up with? I know the fandom debates Asriel ending up with Gwen, Elaine, or Eris.
Or all.
Or all, and Elaine ending up with Lucian or Asriel.
So the big question's always like, is Elaine gonna accept the mating bond or not? I feel like, and this is gonna be such a cop-out answer, she's either gonna reject the mating bond and just be alone. Like, I don't think she's gonna go for Asriel, or she is gonna accept it. Like, that's just kind of like lame. But I have like more opinions on who Asriel ends up with. So I had said this a little bit earlier. I'm such a big Azris fan. That's Asriel and Eris. I still want that to happen. That's what I want to happen. I'll go over in a second. But rereading this book, I was like, oh, it's going to be Gwen. To me, I totally think it's going to be Gwen. Because she's described as lithe and lean and having bones more pliant than ordinary fae. And a huge part of this plot, unfortunately, was the pregnancy and how normal fae just can't accommodate Illyrian wings. And Elaine didn't have the proper anatomy. Nesta did not make a change for Elaine. But it seems like Gwen could survive. Like, they're kind of like setting it up for that. And God, like, I don't want everyone to get like knocked up right away. But that's just kind of like setting it up. She's a singer. He's a shadow singer. I also feel like his like shadows just kind of react to her. And then Asriel saved her from the temple originally. And during training, he just really kept paying attention to her. Anytime she got overly excited, he'd be on the opposite side of the ring and he would just like look at her. So I do think there was a lot of evidence here for Gwen. I'm not saying I ship them.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's being set up for Azriel and Gwen. I don't know. I feel like it's not the most exciting version of what could happen with Azriel. So, but listen, I'm open to it. I just want a book from Azriel's perspective.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Now, the other option, and I was like a lot harder with Azriel this time, and now I actually do think there's another reason for Eris being obsessed with him, and I can't go into that in this episode or even the next. But opposites attract. We have fire and shadows, so light and dark. Eris is constantly asking, where's the shadow singer? Where's the shadow singer? Where's Azriel? I'm like, why are you so obsessed with him? And then Azriel low-key being upset when Eris was abducted by Queen Brialyn, insisting on rescuing Eris. And at the same time, Nesta is also captured for the blood rite. And he's like reassuring Cassian, well, you would know if they're dead. Like, you would feel it in your bond. Like, you would know. I'm like, how would you know? Unless you also had a mate and you knew that they were alive, Azriel. Which I guess it could have also been Gwen. But that said, he was like, we have to go rescue him. And when they go to rescue him, he fucking leaves Cassian behind. And then he's controlled by Brialyn. And I'm just like, wow. So you just like really grabs your mans and bounced to go bounce on it, hopefully.
I don't think he'll actually end up with Eris, unfortunately.
It's wishful thinking.
I would be so good with that, though.
Threesome. Why choose?
Honestly, I would love a why choose book. I'd be really good with that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get that. But I'm with you after rereading this book. I think all the foreshadowing is there for it to be Azriel and Gwen personally. Yep. I think there's something else going on with Eris that he needs from Eris that we don't know about.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but I think he needs something from him.
Yeah.
Other than that D, but we
yeah.
Because he has so many secrets. Like, he's keeping all the secrets.
That's why his wings are so big. They're full of secrets.
They're full of secrets.
Oh, God.
I love a Mean Girls reference. I'm with the Gwen foreshadowing. I don't know how interesting I find that yet, but I'm sure it'll be made very interesting to read about.
And I hope that Elaine accepts the Manning bond because I like Lucian as a character. I don't think he'd still be alive if there weren't a purpose. And I'm just waiting for Sarah to finish his character arc. So, but if she also doesn't accept it, I'm not mad about it. But I just don't really see it being with Azriel.
I don't anymore either. I think if she does eventually accept a mating bond, which I don't think will be right away personally.
No.
I think she might just be like, I need some time, like a lot of time. But I mean, they're Fae. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she could take years, and that's not a lot of time for them.
Yeah.
And
Lucian was only here for like 2 scenes.
Yeah. I think they both need time and healing personally. And I could actually see them both ending up together and running the spring court personally. So
would you believe it or not, I actually have that written down.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Well, like, let's just talk about that now. Everyone it's just so much foreshadowing. I mean, it's since the beginning. Elaine loves flowers. Elaine loves flowers. It's and when they go visit the spring court, Nessa's like, I could really see Elaine in spring. I think there could be another place where there could be flowers. I'm not going to go into it, but I think it's there. And they had mentioned earlier, I'm getting like a little bit ahead of myself, so I do apologize. I think I have to like start here perchance. So like, let's hold this thought. But I think there was foreshadowing for Tamlin's death. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that there. Because originally I was like, oh, we're afraid that Helian's going to die. And that's how Lucian's going to end up being High Lord and being like High Lord of Day. But I actually think he might end up becoming High Lord of Spring. Because they had also mentioned in this book that it can skip bloodlines entirely. And I'm like, well, why would they have a need to mention that now? Maybe if they were thinking that Rhys and Feyre were going to die. But Nesta literally threatened Tamlin and pointed her finger at him. And he's like, oh, fuck, that's like when you pointed the finger at Hybern. You're a witch. I don't like you. Please don't do that. And I think whether she intended it or not in the moment, she marked him for death. So I really don't see him surviving the series. And because Lucien is spending all of his time at the Spring Court border, he is the next most powerful male in the area. And so I think that the magic of the land is going to cling on to Lucien. So if that all happens, Lucien could take over Spring, and then there'll be an instance where maybe he'll end up being High Lord of Spring and Day.
Well, he completed the rite on Calanmai in Tamlin's stead one year. So I'm like, apparently he can just be the one that like puts the magic into the land that it needs through sexy times. I don't fully understand how that works, but and that was like one of the most important parts of High Lord that he's doing for the court to keep its magic going. So I kind of see them both ending up there.
I do too. I think that it makes sense. She's going to end up going where the flowers are. That said, there might be other places that they could go. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
But it's just mentioned too many times for it to not be. I just don't really see Tamlin surviving, and I do see Lucien taking over the Spring Court, and that's what would make sense, because people are like, what if she's actually mated with Tamlin? I'm like, Feyre felt the bond between Lucien and Elaine, so... Anyway.
All right. Let's go back to the trove.
Yes. So there were multiple mentions and even visions of a fourth trove item and missing swords like Gwydion. Karly, do you think that we will see the missing fourth trove item or Gwydion and Narbin again?
I mean, do I think we'll see them? Yeah. I think they're going to have to be like a big plot point at some point. I think like Rhysand being so dismissive of this like fourth item is crazy to me. So, yeah, I definitely think we're going to see these items again. I'm very curious of what this fourth trove item could be.
Do you have...
I think it's interesting because it's described as like being bone-like.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And I find it interesting because you scry with bones to find things. So... I wonder if its ability is somehow tied to something like that. The ability to locate something or something like that. Like somehow tied to that idea. And maybe that's where scrying came from. Like it's like a descendant object of this thing.
That's like a really good idea.
So I don't know, but I definitely think we'll see it. What about you?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's mentioned so many times. It's going to have to come back.
Yeah. Well, whenever a character's like, nah, we don't need to worry about that. I'm like, we're going to need to worry about that.
Yeah, I think this book is really setting the scene for a lot of things. So
yeah,
we're definitely going to see it again. And all the ancient swords coming back too. Like, there's no way we're not going to see all these swords again. I want to, like, that's why you're like, just throw it in the ocean. I'm like, Amarantha threw it in the ocean. What if we end up seeing Narbin again? I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. Not Gwydion. We don't know what happened with Gwydion. It kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
So kind of, I guess, similar. Not really. I mean, they're like made items. We're going to talk about other made items. For whatever reason, Amren had said Nesta's made items were too dangerous for them to unsheath. But then Rhys has no issue giving the dagger to Eris. They ended up claiming later it was because they were hoping it would give him immunity from the dead trove, but I really can't shake the warnings from earlier, especially since we don't know what these weapons do. We kind of have an idea with ataraxia that it can trap these beings in their form and it can kill things that shouldn't be able to be killed, but we don't know what the dagger does. Do you think this will come back to haunt the inner circle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this dagger being out in the world is going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm real worried about whose hands that dagger is going to end up in. Not so much that Eris is going to use it against them, but I worry about where it will end up and how it will be used against them. And maybe they won't even realize it. Maybe somebody will like switch out the dagger on Eris and he won't realize it, and then it'll be out there causing chaos.
Well, not just that, but Amren literally told Rhysand that he could rule as High King of Prythian if he had all 3 of those swords. And yet they're just giving it away to other people who might not be the most trustworthy.
Listen, choices were made and I don't get all of them.
Yeah. I know that this would be throwing nonsense at the wall, but do you have any ideas or hopes and dreams of what the dagger can do?
Well, Ataraxia is like a death sword, basically, right? Like she can kill anything with it. I imagine that the dagger will create like unhealable wounds or something like that, like something on a smaller level. So that would be my guess.
You know, it'd be crazy that it just like thought of just now. What if it could sever bonds somehow? Like, what if he uses it on Lucian and that somehow breaks the bond between him and Elaine? That would be crazy. I don't think that's what it would do. I think it would also be like a wounding situation, death situation thing. Or maybe it would somehow work in tandem with another weapon. Like if he's able to get her other blade somehow. I don't really know. But yeah. How do you think Eris will react once he realizes what he has? Like, do you think at this point he knows it's made and he can sense the power? Or do you think he's going to be like, you fucking gave me this crazy thing and like you...
No, I think he already realizes that it's like a special object. So I'd be a little scared to use it, but I think he's less fearful than I am, and he'll probably be experimenting with it and then show up and be like, what the fuck?
Well, I know they were like, oh shit, Coach J hasn't noticed yet, and he hasn't stolen it. I'm like, well, that's great. How can Coach J not know, but Eris know? Like, that's crazy.
Maybe you just have to be super close to it.
Yeah. So. Man, it like literally haunts me. This dagger, I forgot all about it, and it's gonna haunt me until we have answers.
Same.
So I already talked about Tamlin dying, talked about Elaine in the spring court, which now brings me to the next point. They would not shut up about there being a High King. Like, it was just mentioned way too much for it to not mean anything in the next few books. So you and I are 100% on this. It's definitely foreshadowing that there's going to be a High King of Prythian again. I personally think it could either be Rhysand or Lucian. So Rhys has the weapons and is the most powerful High Lord. And then he's got Nesta and Feyre to back him up. But people don't really trust him. So I think that he would have difficulty uniting the realm. Whereas Lucian has a connection to most of the courts. So as I've said, I think that he will definitely obtain the power of spring. I hope he doesn't obtain the power of day naturally anytime soon, because I like Helion, but he's belongs to the day court. He was raised in the autumn court, and if he ends up ruling over a celestial and a seasonal court, that's kind of crazy. And it would just be nice if Sarah J Maas could finally do something with this character after having him on the sidelines for too long. And then he also has a connection to Vasa and Jurian. I just feel like he's an emissary for all of these courts, can actually inherit power from all these other courts, and he has a connection to the Night Court because of him being mated to Elaine. And he's got all these friends, so it could be more possible for it to be Lucian because of his social connections.
Yeah, I could see that. But
it'd make more sense for
Rhys. I get
Rhys.
what you're saying. I do think it makes more sense for Rhys. I really don't like the idea of a High King, so I hope they find a way to like not do that or to split up the power, because I don't like power concentrated personally. I think that's like always a recipe for disaster eventually in any like of these books, you know, like that's how they always get into the mess in the first place. It's like power becomes too concentrated in an area. So, or
maybe we'll end up actually getting a High Queen, and it's not going to be Feyre. It could actually be Nesta, because they just keep talking about how she's a queen, and then they talk about how Cassian's actually going to end up being a prince. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what like we're actually talking about here.
Could be more.
Could be more. I really don't want it to be more.
I don't know. I think I'd have to get a book from Moore's perspective and then go from there.
Could you imagine if you get a High Queen and it was a mortal turned fae? I'd be like, brother, we for real? As a fae. Like, for me, I wouldn't care. But if I were like an actual person living in Prythian, I'd be like, come on.
Yeah.
They don't even go here. They don't even know our history. I'm just kidding.
How many Mean Girls references can we get in one episode?
I'll be like, she's been a fae for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. I think what I want to see happen, what I hope to see happen, is that they find the swords and distribute them amongst like 3 people that they trust, and that those people are like the court of like the higher.
Yeah.
Like there's no king, but like
the main representatives. Okay, so far we have Autumn and Night.
Yeah. So maybe the other one will be Helion. It'll be the 3 of them. But Tarquin.
I love Tarquin. I miss him. He like wasn't here at all.
He wasn't here at all, and he's such a good character. And I trust him. I'm just saying.
I trust him with my whole heart.
Yeah.
He can do no wrong. Literally no wrong.
Yeah.
Or
like just 3 women, because women generally are better at running things than men.
Yeah.
So
I like how this is like this foreshadowing section is in a way turning into part of our theories episode.
It's just a part of our theories episode at this point. That's
okay.
But that's what I would like to see happen. I don't like the idea of concentrated power, so I'd like it to be more broken up than that personally.
Just a interesting little world building that Sarah decided to throw in for us.
Yeah.
For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay. So when Brialyn faced Nesta on Romuel, she said, quote, I was getting worried you'd never approach. Poor Eris would have met a very sorry end if that had been the case. His fire wouldn't have withstood Koschei's lake, I don't think. So is this foreshadowing that some people can withstand Koschei's lake with fire magic? Because I just felt like the wording was very intentional here. Because we also have Lucian. And then obviously there's Nesta with her silver flames. And Nesta does still have her power of death. We don't know how much yet, but she still has it. She also has the trove and ataraxia. So I think that most likely Nesta will be the one to kill Koschei, because he's an immortal death god like Lanthus, and she managed to do that just with ataraxia.
Yeah. I don't feel like we got nearly enough on Koschei and this lake, and Vasa, right, is the one that becomes the
Vasa, yep.
bird of fire.
You know what? Maybe Vasa's gonna take ataraxia and just like slice that motherfucker up as revenge.
Listen, I feel like Vasa has earned it.
She's definitely earned it.
Yeah, so I'd like to see her get her.
And she's got her flames too. So yeah, I just feel like when they said that, I was like, flame magic, you say? Okay.
Maybe they're all gonna have to team up.
Maybe a portal's gonna open up, and other people with fire magic are gonna come in. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be incredible, but no,
probably not. But I listen. I don't know what's going on with Koschei and that lake. I don't think that was like another thing that we get this world building element here, and it get really interesting, and then we just go back.
They got to talk to him for 5 seconds.
Romance drama, and I was like, no.
He's like, you don't even want to talk to me. I'm like, I do.
Yeah,
I'm fine talking with you, brother. And then Azriel's terrified. He's like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, don't have anything specific other than I really would have liked more on that.
Me too. Okay. This is the last one, and I swear it. So I also have a longer theory on this one.
Okay.
But I will be saving that for the Massverse theories episode.
Okay.
But Nesta briefly mentioned that they still have surviving family on the continent. So that was their mother's cousin, Erston. I personally don't think Sarah J Maas would name a character unless they'll actually make an appearance later on But do you think that we will be seeing their family on the continent in the next book?
I think it's very possible that we will, and that we will use this person to get more back lore on Archeron family, because I also have thoughts, and like there's got to be something going on there, because I mean, what are the odds?
I went on a very deep rabbit hole on this one. And it's such a throwaway line. And I feel like that's what Sarah does, is she just has these throwaway lines thinking no one's going to remember. And it all ends up being important. And I just forgot this person existed. And I was like, oh my God, they have family. And that they had other family members drown because of the Fae. And it just goes back to Lucian and Tamlin saying, your mother didn't share stories about us?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I have thoughts.
I'm like, what was Mama Archeron hiding?
I have thoughts. I have many thoughts. Yeah, no, but I just felt like it was so random to include that I'm hoping it's foreshadowing of anything.
Yeah. Same, girl. Same.
Yep. All right. Any last thoughts before we end our Silver Flames / ACOTAR series discussion?
No, I mean, we'll be back with theories and lore, and I'm reading Throne of Glass and you're reading Throne of Glass, so we continue on.
Yeah. Oh, God. So excited. Okay. That was great. Right. This was longer than I thought we would have to discuss this book.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is where we leave you today, Basic Book Besties. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave us a review and join us for our next episode, where we are diving into the cauldron and discussing all things theory for the next ACOTAR 6 book.
Oh, man. I have been holding in so much, and I am so excited to talk about all of our theories. So anyway, if you need more bookish content, we have 4 ongoing seasons. There's obviously our crash course for the Maasverse. We also have Fourth Wing deep dive topics, fun author interviews, and our book bestie chats featuring spice ratings, our thoughts on recent adaptations, discussions on our current reads, and more. Our Maasverse Season 2 content releases weekly on Thursdays, or kind of just like whenever we want, because I just moved, and so our schedules are kind of crazy right now. So we apologize, but we're about to get back on track. Meanwhile, our other seasons do release episodes sporadically on Tuesdays.
You can check out our website, basicandbookishpod.com, for info about our contact form, upcoming seasons, which authors we have scheduled next, events we're attending, and more. We've linked that down in the show notes.
You can join us over on Patreon, where you can access all of our episodes ad-free, 3 days early, and in full video. Plus extras like exclusive book club access, shoutouts on the show, and a PDF play-by-play recap of ACOTAR books 2 to 5. Although book 5 is kind of in and out because I was switching between audiobooking and reading with my Kindle. Yeah. But it exists if you want a more thorough recap. You'll find our Patreon link in the show notes, along with all the ways you can support the podcast.
Don't forget to stay in the loop by following us on social media at Basic and Bookish Pod, and join us in our Discord chat. Who knows, you might just meet your next book bestie there.
We'll be back next week. Until then, prepare to crash out over ACOTAR 6 as we continue to crash course our way through the Maasverse. Oh my God, finally.
We finished ACOTAR.
That was the hard part of this season. I really feel like that was our hard part. And now the best parts are about to begin. The theories, the world building and lore. Oh my God, I have so much world building notes. Each book, I wish I was exaggerating, over 300 highlights and notes in each one. Oh God, it's too many. But yeah,
it's so many.
That's just what's so interesting to me. And Throne of Glass, I'm so excited for you. I really do hope you like it a lot more this time.
Yeah.
And if you guys are listening, we're actually going to have a season 1 book bestie chat episode where we're going to talk about why Karly hasn't read all of Throne of Glass. And maybe you'll relate.
I may have DNF'd it.
Yeah, and maybe you'll relate to it, because like we did have that episode where we talked about different reading orders, and you know, she didn't have someone to guide her like I have guided you guys. Yeah. So hopefully this time you enjoy it more.
If you want to start reading Throne of Glass, now's the time.
I genuinely think you're going to like it a lot more, because kind of vibed with ACOTAR more, and the parts that you liked with Wings and Ruin is like the best parts of that. So
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm very excited for that, and I'm very excited for Crescent City. And then once we finish Crescent City, then we can go into the rest of the ACOTAR theories that I can only say after you have read Throne of Glass and Crescent City.
Maasverse spoilers, here we come.
Oh God, it's so hard to keep it in for so long. I just need somebody to speak to about it.
So close.